Hello again. And you can probably tell, or you will be able to tell from the video, that I'm actually sitting outside the Picton Library, which is part of Liverpool Central Library. Fantastic building, and I want to give you at least a couple of stills from inside and hopefully some video. Please bear in mind it is a public library and a rather special one, so I do have to be very careful. But that's not the main point of today's video. A few weeks ago I went up to St Helens to do some photographs around a lake. It was a very, very short-lived outing, I'm afraid. While I was standing on the edge of a fisherman's platform, my low-pro slingshot bag came open. Now, I'm not going to lay the blame on low-pro. It's more of how I used to use it, I'll be honest with you. And I've decided not to use it again. What happened was, and I'll try and, when I get back home, I'll try and demonstrate exactly how it happened. The slingshot bag I had resting on my stomach, so I'd slung it round from my back to the front so I could gain access to my bits and pieces. Got my Pen F out and wanted to change the lens. So to do that, I fully opened the front of the bag, and whether I leaned forward slightly or not, I don't know, but the two safety catches I had undone, so that's probably my fault. But because I'd undone the two safety catches, the whole of the front of the bag opened up, and I must have been leaning forward slightly because the complete front flap opened up and my 12mm rocking-on lens fell out. Now, as if that wasn't bad enough, along with the 12mm rocking-on, my wireless microphone fell out. Now, the rocking-on lens was big enough not to fall down the cracks between the fishing platform and the bank of the lake. Unfortunately, the microphone was more than small enough to fall through the gap, and I just couldn't retrieve it. It went into the water. So that was a fairly expensive little exercise that I went through there, sadly. Anyway, I have replaced the microphone, as you can tell, and I'm actually at the point of looking for a new small shoulder bag. What I've opted for actually is this, from my good friends at K&F Concept, Kent Faith. I'll put some details for you up on the screen. I'm not sure whether it's 10 or 12 litres, I can't quite remember off the top of my head, but I'll put them down here, the specs. And this is designed to be an over-the-shoulder bag and or a bum bag, what you might call, I think our American friends refer to them as fanny packs. But because of the weight that I have in it, it's not really feasible for me to wear it as a bum bag. In theory, this strap, which I've got over my shoulder, I can put around my waist and have it either behind me or in front of me. But for now, anyway, I am sticking to it being a shoulder bag. It's really, really useful. Now, why have I gone for this type of bag? I wanted something small and compact. Something that will take the Osmo Pocket 3 with the battery extension, with the microphone, with its protective plastic outer case, this thing. So that will fit in here very nicely in the front pocket. That's a good fit. And the other thing that's changed my mind and why I wanted to go for something like this is the fact that I've now got, with the EM1 Mark II, which is what I've got with me today. I'll just show you what's in here. We have the EM1 Mark II with the 12-40, no problem. I have a spare battery in here. I have also squeezed in today, just as a one-off, the 6mm f2 Lauer super wide angle lens. Why I've done that will become clear hopefully when we get inside the library. But as well as that, I have now got, because of the purchase of the other Panasonic Lumix lens, the 45 to 175, I've now got everything, barring a very small gap in focal lengths, between the full frame equivalent of 24mm and 350mm in this little bag, plus my recording setup. So that's why I've gone for something small and lightweight. These bags are available in all sorts of different colours, even pinks, greys, blacks. You can be a bit, adventurous. But those three items will fit in the main compartment very easily. It has a double zip, and there is a hand carrying strap on it as well. And then at the back, I'll just tilt it forward so you can see, at the back here we have another compartment which can hold mobile phone or wallet, credit cards, that kind of thing. And then underneath we have two straps. Now they're not elasticated, so I'm going to have to think of something a little bit more secure, but this is where I keep the selfie stick for the Osmo Pocket 3, which is working right now. So there you have it. That's why I've opted for this. Now I'm really happy with this. It's squishy, it's well padded inside, and the interior, which I'll give you a view of when I get back home, you can fold that in different ways to accommodate different types of equipment. It's not completely perfect. No camera bag that I know of is ever completely perfect, but for me, as a lightweight hold-all for the kind of gear that I use, it's absolutely fantastic. So far, so good. Another thing this has, which I quite like, and it's a little thoughtful accessory, there is a clip, removable clip for house keys, which I probably won't leave them attached to that permanently, but nevertheless, it's a thoughtful little accessory, and I do like things like that. So there we are. That's my K&F Concept shoulder bag. I'll put all the relevant details for you down here somewhere. There is a link where you can obtain a 17% discount on these bags. I'm not sure if it applies to the whole of the K&F range, probably not. But if you want to grab yourself 17% discount on one of these shoulder bags of any colour, have a look in the description down below, because there will be a code there. I think it's just Alan, really. So if you type that in when you're on the K&F Concept website, you should get 17% off one of these little beauties. Now, why have I come down here today, and why have I squeezed in the 6mm Lauer, which I normally wouldn't do in this with this arrangement? Recently, one of my subscribers, and I don't know your Christian name, sorry, but it's I guess a Mr. D. Wright. I say a guess because I think all bar two of my subscribers are gentlemen. But anyway, D. Wright, thank you for the question. You said you'd like me to do a video about my favourite lenses and why do I choose particular lenses for particular shots. Well, today's going to be a pointing question and a demonstration, I hope, because there are numerous occasions when the surroundings dictate, as far as I'm concerned anyway, they dictate the actual lens that I need to use. So when I go inside the central library, inside the main concourse, and also into the Picton reading room, you'll understand, I hope, instantly why I need a lens like the 6mm Lauer. So it's the location that on this occasion dictates the lens that I think I need to use. As regard to favourite lenses, well, I think I've said it before, that if you asked me what type of lens do I use more than any other, it has to be a wide angle of some description. You'll know that I also enjoy shooting vintage lenses on my Sony A7 Mark II, and I have a number of wide-angle lenses. 28 mils are very easy to come by. 28 mil is a very useful focal length on a full frame camera. It doesn't distort stuff too much at all, and it does enable you to encompass a much wider field of view than you would get with, say, a 50mm. 50mm lenses on full frame or 25mm equivalent on micro four thirds. A little bit boring, yes. I do enjoy using them though, and I try with a 50mm or 25 to isolate the subject I'm looking at. With regard to longer focal length lenses, well, the most that I use, even half regularly, would be the 100 to 300 Panasonic Lumix lens. Bear in mind that gives me up to 600mm equivalent on a full frame camera, which is like way more than I normally use. If you've watched my video which featured the cricket match, that's one of the rare occasions when I've actually had to use that to its maximum. Having waffled on more than enough, I'm going to take you inside the central library and do a very quick video surreptitiously to show you the main concourse. It's pretty spectacular, and for those of you that are interested in the older architecture, the Picton Reading Room is just brilliant. So join me as we go for a walk around Central Library. And there we go. Point in question. It's the location which determines the lens that I choose rather than the opposite way around. Now I've come up here to the rooftop terrace of Central Library, and it gives you a great view of the Liver Buildings clock tower, just the very top section of the Liver Buildings, and the wonderful sort of dome behind me. And so from up here I've used the 45 to 175 and also the 6mm hour. The coverage on that lens is just ridiculous. It goes from one extreme at 6mm to the other extreme at 175mm when I've been pointing it at the pointing the Lumix lens at the Liver Buildings there. It's just ridiculous. And if well, I'm not going to convince anybody to change to Micro Four Thirds, but I hope it reinforces my opinion that Micro Four Thirds is so compact that I can carry that sort of range of focal lengths with me in a small 10 or 12 litre shoulder bag like this, and also bung in video equipment. It's ridiculous. Anyway, from up here on the rooftop terrace of Liverpool Central Library, I'm going to say enjoy your photography. Do you like the trendy baseball cap? Enjoy your photography, and I'll see you all next week. Bye for now.